Give me a second. I gotta get rid of the commercial. I don't know about y'all, but I'm about tired of these. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, RD. Derby, Tracy, Desiree. We got a full house today. And welcome, 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 folks. Bonnie. Let's see who else. Kathleen, Carol. Oh my goodness. Full house, full house. And that works for me. How's everybody doing today? Everybody say hi. Hi, Melinda. Say hi to Mary Jane. She's in the house today. She says it's rainy and yucky. So there you go. All right. All right. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Kathy. The split ring is a lifesaver, Derby. It surely is. Hi, Silver. Bonjour. I guess I said that. Rita, welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody's interested in this. That's awesome. Y'all have to excuse me if I yawn a little bit. It's because we was up most of the night with storms, and Miss Little Bits doesn't like rain, and if it clap of thunder, she's a goner. And last night, she was all over the bed. So, yeah, she just get me up. I chased her most of the night. Night before I chased my bedclothes, I bought a new bedspread. I swear that is the slickest material I ever saw in my life. It just kept sliding. I had to remake my bed 4 times. I hate it when you buy something and that's what you get. But that's life. We just grin and bear it. You did. Well, was it good stuff? Hi, Lori. So glad you made it. By the way, thank you, Lori, for your donation. It really does help. We're climbing our way to $1,787 for next year's fees for the website, the StreamYard, and all the stuff it takes for the to run the classes. And we have conquered to the point that we are only have to do 1,235. So yeah, it's coming in. Yeah, we're not gonna get anything off the hurricanes, but the flooding in Florida, oh my god. That was around campgrounds that we would stay at. Several of the camps we stayed at down there, they were hammered pretty bad last night. 13 inches of rain, and it's been raining on and off here, but it's cold. It's supposed to go down to the 30s tonight. Oh, you're welcome, Lillian. You're very welcome. Yes, Clooney's are considered an advanced technique, but we're gonna get into them in this class. I do wanna go over some things with everybody. I know I hand out a lot of information for your classes up on the website, and the reason I do that is to give you all the knowledge you need and different viewpoints that you need to gather your own thoughts on different things. Okay. We have set ways we do things as shuttle tatters. Needle tatters don't have a dictionary like we do. They have to play guessing games and play with it. Okay. And figure out how to do it on needle. Because needles don't bend. If you bend them, you've ruined them. Okay. So, given that, what I give you doesn't mean you have to do all that homework. You don't have to do any of that homework if you don't want to, but it's benefit to you for practice. Nobody wants to sit there and do split rings till the cows come home. Okay. Nobody wants to do split chains till the cows come home. It's nice to know it, but there's a limit, you know? Hi, Donna. And, when you get to that point that you're bored, you'll drop out. You'll quit tatting. I'm serious. You'd be surprised how many people have quit tatting and come back to it when they gathered their thoughts back, okay? So, don't let that happen to you. If you don't feel like doing the homework, fine, okay? I suggest at least 1 practice piece. If you can't get through it, still turn it in because I want to see where your catch is, okay? Because then I can help you, alright? If I can see where you're missing something, I can bring that to the forefront and help you through with it, okay? Alright, Lillian says she wanted to quit this week, but tried to focus on the good. Alright, we got a commercial running on my side. How about you guys? At least I can do a split ring. Well, most of the time. Well, you're gonna do a split ring, Lillian. You're gonna do it. Alright. Hi, Jax. Alright, I'm gonna wait. Give me a thumbs up when it's over. Looks like they're running pretty consecutively. That's good. Is everybody back? Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm trying to get it set to where they all come in at the same time, but sometimes YouTube just messes with us, okay? It's just that simple. They've been messing with me a lot lately, and I'm just really getting aggravated with them. Everything is. Why isn't everything updated this week? To cause mass confusion in my poor little pea brain? I don't know. But back to what I was saying. Um, Donna, you may or may not get commercials. I can't make no guarantees on any of it. Just let me know so that I can stop what I'm doing. I'll take all the time that is necessary to get everything across to you guys. Okay. That said, I want to get started on last week. We got 2 patterns that befuddled a lot of you all. That's where today's class came from. Okay. Split rings and split chains are considered a beginner intermediate, okay, technique. And when I say that, back when Georgia was running the classes, the beginner courses, they taught them as the going out of beginners into Georgia's class. Well, when you do that, everybody, "Hey, Anna, it's okay. It's okay. Hi, Jeremy, how you feeling?" Jeremy's sick. I want everybody to say a little prayer for Tom's wife. She is in the hospital. They had to rush her to the hospital this morning. Her blood pressure was really, really low. They have gotten it brought back up, okay? She has, multiple myeloma, and they put her back on chemo. When she goes on chemo, she gets sick. When she comes off chemo, she's and it messes with her system. Anybody that thinks those drugs don't mess with your system, they don't understand cancer and the chemo treatments. But keep him and his wife both in your thoughts and prayers that she recovers again and she gets past this. So far, she's lived quite a long life with lots of prayers. So y'all keep them on your mind and give them a little thought, Lord, please. All right. Yeah, that's what she's going through. And Lillian, I got news for you. She's a very sweet lady. Her husband is very sweet. And for them to have to go through this, I don't think anybody should have to go through cancer. And they should have a cure for it by now. I totally believe that. And I honestly think they do have a cure. They just aren't going to give it. It's their way of controlling population. I understand it. There are other ways that aren't so horrible. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, you know? So, with that said, the 3 techniques I'm going to go over with you today, and I'm just gonna teach the techniques. We're gonna do a walkthrough on a pattern, okay? And I've got I think it's 5 or 6 patterns. Some of them are really, really easy for you guys to try, alright? And I want you to play with them. If you see it's too overwhelming, stop right there. Move on to the next, okay? You do not again, you do not have to do all the homework. You don't have to do any of it. I'm not breaking your arms. I'm not tying you up in a chair saying, "You're gonna do it." I'm not that kind of teacher, okay? You will apply what you want, when you want, and when you feel comfortable. Till then, just sit in and listen. I listened to Georgia for an entire year while I was in beginners class, and eventually things started clicking and I started catching on. So I that's why I invite beginners because there's things that go together hand in hand, and you can see it happening once you get all the information, okay? So that's where I think there was a bit of confusion. That's fine. You take beginners as often as you need to. We're not throwing you out, okay? We're not gonna throw you out. I'll know when you're ready to leave, and I'll tell you you're when you go into the advanced class, you're gonna know it, and advanced class is gonna fly. Y'all have to realize this is a whole new platform compared to what Georgia taught in. Georgia taught in a chat room. We had to type all this stuff out on a keyboard and hope you understood. If you can't listen to it through a book and learn it, there's no way you can understand a chat room because there's 15 conversations going on at once. This way, it's more closed and there's room for everyone. Okay. Hey, Fred, hadn't seen you in an age. You staying dry? We're getting rowboats. We've decided. Yeah, video is much better. All right, we got ads coming around, ladies and gents. Kathleen, you're not the only one. Let's see. Carol Best in here. Carol Davenport. All right. We still got them coming in. I know. Well, we can't even run between green drops anymore. All right. She's back. Now, remember, when y'all get an ad, flag me down or something. I'll try to stay on top of the chat. But when I'm looking down, I can't see the chat, but I'll try my best. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to discuss is Beth Z's tatting shuttle. This one here. Would you think was free, but you wasn't sure, Pam? Oh, Monica, that is so sweet of you to say. I'm so glad you're learning. Isn't that gorgeous? That is a gorgeous shuttle. I found this in the archives of the files, folks. Archives of the files. I don't remember Georgia pulling this out. Now, she may have, and it may have been a class that I didn't see, which is very possible. I was not part of that class, okay? But I don't remember it. But it was in the archives. And I was like, now that is something I could get behind. Now, many of you tried it. I'm going to give you kudos. But there's a technique here that I have not shown any of you all in this class. And it was a test, okay? And that's what a lot of what you're getting is testers. And when you feed back to me and say, "I just can't understand this," I go, "Aha," make a note, and I know that I have to dig in deeper with that and show it to you and tell you the different ways you can use that technique, okay? But when I'm done with you today, you will be able to do this, okay? And I wanna see samples from those of you that wanna try it, but practice the technique till you've got it in your head. See the ins and outs of that technique before you pick up your pattern. Once you've got the technique down, the pattern is going to be a breeze. All right? These are very, very simple patterns. Okay. But as with all new students and even more versed tatters, they go, I know this. Why is it not doing this? Why is it not coming in here? Where's it at? Because there's so much we want to do and we can't remember it all. And that's where our sample books come into play. You can fold around in your sample book. Ah, there it is. Now let me read up on how to do that. You see, that's where our sample books are very handy because when I get through with you, you're going to say, and I haven't seen these techniques before. They are in pattern. Trust me. Okay. So this one here, it has what they call a floating chain or a dead chain. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's listed on last week's beginner's class, and I may have listed it today on the website, Phyllis. I can't send patterns through with email. They won't let us. We can't post it on Facebook anymore. They won't let us. And YouTube says no more PDFs. Copyright is a really horrid thing going on right now. There is a lot of copyright thieves, and they have just lowered the boom on us. Uh, I used to could go through the classes and set it up and everything in jig time. No, I gotta go through an act of Congress, pass 2 laws and a couple of bills before I can finish setting up the class. And if you think I'm joking, Pam can tell you it took me to 5 o'clock the other day to get today's class up, and I started at 9 o'clock, a full day just to get the class up, and it's because of all the additional BS they want me to do. So, yeah, I get angry at it, but I understand where it's coming from, okay? So, we're gonna learn our dead chain, or commonly called floating chain. Uh, they use this chain in beadwork, so if any of you are beaders, it might ring a bell with you once you see it done. I don't know, I don't remember what beaters called it. I think they called it dead chain, to be honest. I'm not sure. I used to bead all the time, but it's been about 30 years since I did beadwork. So, a lot of what I knew, bye-bye, it flew with the rest of my brain out there. So, it also has in here split rings. Aha! Think about that. Now, the other one we did, this one Wally Sosa did. It was Mrs. J.C. Spencer. It was one of her patterns. I know y'all have seen the Spencer Doily up on the website. Miss J.C. Spencer did this one too, and Wally Sosa rewrote this for shuttle tatters. But she's also a needle tatter. So she shuttle tats and she needle tats, and she can incorporate the 2 very smoothly. So if y'all really wanna know some in-depth information on needle tatting, there's your go-to girl, and she's got some wonderful books up, okay, for sale, and they're all needle tatting books for all you needle tatters. I will get the list together with you and get you her web address. Pam, I know we looked it up, Do you happen to have that handy on Wally's web address for her books and stuff? She's got some wonderful books for you guys, and it's mostly needle tatted books, okay? So you all might get a real joy out of it. But on this one, we're gonna learn split ring and split chain, okay? Now, here was the homework sheets. Y'all see? One of them's George's heart. This is the easiest one. How many of y'all that have tatted that? That's on the home of our website. That is a beautiful heart, perfectly symmetrical and perfectly shaped. And Georgia spent a lot of time working on this. This one is in one of her books. Don't ask me which one. I can't tell you. There's 7 of them. It's part of the Ribbon Winter series. Okay. Then we have a split ring butterfly. Isn't she beautiful? Very easily done. Read the instructions. Follow them to the T. Okay. You don't have to do it. Remember, you don't have to do any of these. You don't have to do all of them. You pick your battle. I'm not going to tell you what your battle is. Okay, check this out. This is a pattern that has split chains, which is also called bridging chains. Okay, now do you see where the confusion comes from in the tatting community? 17 ways to describe a split chain, 17 ways to describe different joints. Some joints have 3 different names and it's the same joint. It's all in who came up with it. Yes, the whole butterfly on this one is split ring, all of this. And she gives you diagram instructions on this. That's why I choose a lot of Jennifer Williams patterns, and it's because she diagrams, okay? It's called bridging chains, okay? And it's like the chains are bridged because you are bridging the tatting from this side to the other side. Yes, the butterfly is all split rings. So, yeah, we're gonna get into it, folks. We're gonna get into it. Now, you remember I told y'all about the little things that you could use, you know, about the little floating or dead chains? Well, some people use dead chains to make stamens. This pattern, I don't believe has it in there. I haven't done it yet, but she does have a pattern that does have the stamens added in, and they are done using the dead chain or floating chain technique, and it is diagrammed. I didn't pull that one down because I figured, my gosh, I loaded you guys up. Okay, now the next one is a dahlia motif. This is more bridging chain or, remember, split chains. And you'll understand the theory behind the bridging and the split. You'll understand it once you see it in action, okay? Then she come up with this. This is not part of your homework. This is just show and tell. These make the most beautiful tatted bracelets you ever laid your eyes on. Friendship bracelets. And you can add beads in here and all kinds of stuff. Later in life, we're going to get into this. Okay. So this is what you got to look forward to. Are you ready for those challenges? If you're ready, I'm ready to teach them. Okay. So with that said, let's get into this floating chain and the split chain and the bridging chain and the split rings and all that fun stuff. So we're headed downstairs so you all can get a whiff of what we got to do. So let me switch my cameras. And I did charge my mic. I didn't forget this time. Thank goodness I got backups, right? All right, let me slide this over. I'm not gonna open up the pattern for today until after we learn what this is. I'm gonna show you right here. This is the beginning of the, um, shuttle. This here is our floating chain right here, okay? Now this floating chain has a paper clip on, all right? There's a reason there's this paper clip on it or this safety pin, bulb pin, whatever you wanna call it, whatever you wanna use, but you do need a placeholder. There is a reason, because if you don't, until you get into your next element, you could possibly pull that chain right on out and you've done nothing. So let's do that one first. Now for that, I am going to use this shuttle because it's size 10 thread, okay, and this shuttle. Now I am going to tie a knot in these two, just a general everyday knot because this is what you're going to do to practice, alright? Now, usually when starting off well, let's do it this way, it'll be easier. Let's do it this way. Mama bear needs a coach every once in a while. Alright, a floating chain. Imagine this. We're going to make a chain, and we'll leave a long enough tail here just to show you the floating chain, okay? Now, if I go to tat this up, let me get some more thread. I don't look like quite enough for going to tat this up, and I wrap my hand for the chain. Now I tat this chain, and I come in here, and I've got it, I'm just holding it with my finger, and I continue tatting, and I get ready to close it. Guess what? It's gonna knot it up right here, alright? Eventually, that's going to work itself out, and then there goes all your work, alright? You don't want that. No, ma'am. You do not want that. What you want is an actual chain, not a knot and not a missing chain. So, cut that off, get rid of that, and what we're going to do to create this floating chain or dead chain depends on who wrote the pattern, what it's called, okay? But you're gonna drop it in a bulb pin, okay? Pull that down till you get enough thread to play with, or you can just wind 2 shuttles. It's up to you. I didn't have 2 shuttles to wind. So, I just didn't have time to do it. Don't ask, long story short. Um, Now we are going to do our chain. We're gonna put in our double stitches. Let's say we're gonna put in 5, okay? That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, we got 5 chains or 5 double stitches, and we've got a chain. Now we have this bulb pin in place to keep from when we tighten that chain down and shape it from our thread from popping out the other side or creating that nasty knot. We don't want either, alright? So, once you tat it up, before you remove your bulb pin, move on to your next element. Your next element could be a ring, it could be a split ring, it could be a half ring, it could be a dimple ring, but it's another element. And the reason you're going to do that is because you want a little of this tail into this core of your next element. Anybody take a guess why you want to do that? Why would you want to tie this in on your core? And your core is the working thread. This is your tension. This is your working thread or core thread. Okay. This is the one that starts the stitch, and this is the one that flips the stitch. Say that with me. This is the one that starts the stitch, and this is the one that flips the stitch. If you say that little nursery rhyme to yourself, it's gonna save you a lot of time and trouble. My husband has learned if I've got tatting in my hand, because in my brain, I'm doing my little nursery rhymes. Turn like the page of a book. Rotate, quarter turn like the clock, hands of a clock. And that you use those little things and they will stick with you. I didn't give them to you for no reason. All right, so we're gonna make our first double stitch, and I'm gonna cut some of that tail off just because I can. I'm gonna drop it down in there and work that tail in, okay? And you don't need to go through a whole element to get that hit in there, all right? Just a couple of stitches will do, all right? Don't have to be precision here. You're just wanting to lock it in. 1 stitch will do it, 2's even better, okay? So and it's not as pretty as I'd like for it to be because I'm not using 2 shuttles. It gets twisted sister, don't me? There used to be a band back in the '70s and '80s called Twisted Sister, and I always told my sister, she was "Hey, Teresa," and, she fell for it. So, yeah, if it works on her, it works on anybody. Alright, now we're gonna put in the first half stitch on this one, and this is gonna be the last one we take that tail through, alright? And we're gonna put in the next half. Now I wanna show you something. This is going to drive me to insanity and beyond. Get up. There we go. Now, I dropped the tail off. Now, I can turn this over and I can cut it off now, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put in our 5 double stitches, okay? 4 and 5. And the next thing we're gonna do is put in a picot. I'm not gonna measure it because this is a sample. You don't need to measure it either. If you don't want a picot, don't put one in. Your sample is your sample. Make it your own. Okay, now we're gonna put in 5 on this side, we got 2 going there, this is 3rd, 4th, and 5th, alright? Now we're gonna close that ring. Now when we close this ring, there's no chance of this coming out, but for safety, we're not gonna mess with that. We're not gonna take that little paper clip off just yet. We're gonna cut that tail off first, get it out of the way, get everything out of the way so that when you remove this paper or this bulb, whatever you use, it will stay. Now, you can adjust your stitches however you want. She's in there. She's not going nowhere and no chance of pulling her out. How cool is that, folks? And that is exactly how you start the shuttle. This is right here where you're gonna start. This is a split ring. So when you start, make sure you start 2 shuttles, okay? And then go into your split ring, and then this is another split ring. You see how they can play with the different techniques to get the desired look, and that is why we give so many different techniques, because you'd be surprised how many patterns have been rewritten using modern day techniques to simplify. Hi, Angel, and not get in the way of the pattern to the point that, yeah, I'm changing the whole thing. You're not. You're just changing the techniques. It doesn't say dead chain. That's what I'm saying. When it told you to start here on a chain, right there, it said start on a chain. That told you it was a dead chain or a floating chain. So I just answered all 3 of your questions with one statement. When it starts with a chain, that is a dead chain. Now, a lot of times they'll start something with the dead chain and they'll bring something back around to lock in to the picot that your bulb pin or your paper clip created, your placeholder. But if you're starting with the chain, use the smallest item that you can, which would be a safety pin or something like that, you could use for a picot, okay? But you do it's a joining picot. That's all it will ever be is a joining picot. It will not be a decorative picot, okay? Alright, we got a commercial. I'll sip my coffee. Let me know when the commercial's over. They are coming in right on time, all of them together. That's a short ad, Monica. You got lucky. So, you understand the purpose of the placeholder on the dead chain. Now, if you pull this pin or whatever you're using off before you make your next element, you do sacrifice the opportunity to use this chain because you're gonna have to start over, okay? So, make sure you put a placeholder, okay? I did get some information on the commercials. I'll go over it after a while and talk to you all about it and see how we can approach this because it is aggravating me, okay? We shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't. Alright, awesome sauce, awesome sauce. Now, let's get into that split ring. Now, I don't have a motif ready for a split ring. I'm gonna show you how to do a split ring, and I'm also gonna show you how to do a split chain using all of my little samples here, okay? I got some more samples somewhere, I just can't find them all. Yes, and, you'll find places to use a dead chain in your tatting. Oh, you're welcome, Carmen, you're very welcome. I don't mind any of this. I really don't. I have a ball. I do. Because, I learn right with y'all because while I'm teaching, I'm learning things about of how can I make this better and easier to learn? And my brain's always working. You'd be surprised how many times I woke up in the middle of the night with my hands moving like I had shuttles and I'm figuring out something. So, now we are going to use this motif. I was working on another pattern, okay? And it's a pretty pattern. It's a paid pattern, and it's a foreign pattern, but it's the most beautiful square I've ever laid my eyes on. I just have to have it. So I've been working on that. Um, anyway, we are going to do the bridging of the first. We're gonna work our ring and all that good stuff. All right? So we're gonna hide the ends as we do this. Reason being, I wanna make sure we're set up because I don't want none of this flopsy stuff in my way. All right? Back the tail off. Let's wrap the hand. We're gonna do a ring of 5, split 5, okay? Dr. Peabody took too long. Okay. I hope that's a joke. I really do, Karen. I hope that's a joke. I hope you're doing okay. Alright, now, will that work? That will work. That looks about like size 10. I'm gonna use this so I don't have to fight with that. Y'all just bear with me for a second. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to do a ring of 5 picot 5 hooks. So we're gonna go 1, first ring is not gonna be 5 split 5, second ring will. I'm gonna go 2. The easiest way to learn to do split rings is start off with a ring. You don't want to start, "I'm gonna learn split rings and I'm gonna go do this pattern." Don't. Trust me, don't. You need to learn the technique before you learn the pattern, because you get into the pattern and then you go, "I can't do this and I'm not going to." Oh, yeah, I remember Dr. Peabody. Alright, that's 3. On 4, we're gonna s there we go. We got it. It went right there. It did it. Alright, we put the tail in behind 3, 4, and 5. Now we're gonna put a picot up here because we're just doing a basic ring, okay? And then we're gonna go into our split ring, and it's gonna consist of 5 picot 5. But it's gonna be so small of a picot, you're not even gonna notice the picot, but there will be a gap between the rings, okay? Now, as you're tying your ends in, make sure your ends don't get caught up in that first ring. Now, before I move on, let me get that tail out of my hair. Yeah, when you see me pull out the sweaters, you know it's cold because I am not a cold-natured person. I do not like the cold. I like the warmth. So if I break out the sweaters, you know it's cold. Alright, now, I'll pull that out of the way. Let me show y'all something. With split rings, you work your split rings on the front. Whoops, don't you dare come out. Back. All your split rings are done from the front side. Now, you could run the tail up this side and then run the tail along the cord up this side. I do that because if you do and pull, or it pulls on it or anything, you make a bracelet and stuff gets pulled on it, it's gonna pull those ends out. There's no preventing it. So what I do is hide one tail in the top ring on the left side and one tail in the bottom ring on the left side, okay? So with that said, or whatever, um, let's get going. So we're going to split this. We're gonna do 5 picot 5. On the 3rd double stitch, we will get rid of this tail. So first thing we wanna do is feed that tail through there. Get a good start on that tail, leave it. Alright, gonna go. That's 1, there's 2, and as you get versed on tying in your tails as you go, you'll begin to like that part and aspect of this because that's 2 less tails you gotta sew in. Alright, there's the 3. So we're gonna pull that back and get it out of the way, pull that 3rd stitch in, put 4 and 5. Now, let me cut that off 'cause I don't want that tail in the way of what I'm gonna be showing you for the split ring. And we will do more than 1 because we had to get rid of all these little problem children. Alright, now, As you can see, I have purple thread here. If I can get this thing back in camera shot, I've got purple thread on this. I have on this side, we're gonna do the white thread. That is your split ring. Start with 2 colors. That way you know you've got it right. You know your stitches have flipped or didn't flip, okay? Now, with a split ring, let me tell you a little story. When you are working on the back side of your split ring, they tell you, "All right, hold it here and do the dead spider method." You don't have to do that. Arthritic hands, pay very close attention, pull you some more thread out, stick your thumb in there, lay that split ring right there. Your hand is in a natural state. Your hand will not cramp, it will not hurt, and you can make split rings till the cows come home using this, and it's called the high five method, okay? There are many methods that you can use for a split ring, okay? Not a new technique, it's just a way to do it. If you go to Georgia Sites Advanced Class channel, you will see all the different methods, 'cause she had me to do videos on all the different methods that we had at the time, and guess what? There's more since then, okay? But the most convenient for people that have hand problems, wrist problems, because this lays your hand, in fact, let me get it off the thread. Lays your hand in a natural state as if you was laying it on a table, okay? So therefore, carpal tunnel does not hurt because it's a natural state. Rheumatoid does not hurt because it's a natural state. Anytime you can lay your body physically in a natural state, you will not have ache and pain, okay? So, high five is great for that. Plus, here's the second bonus on that. You've got your chain sitting here. The first half of your stitch, when working on the back side here, everything is what they call wrapped or encapsulated, okay? You did yours on your knuckles? Yeah, it's up to the person, it's up to the tatter. I can tat this way, I can tat the other way, but if my hands are cramping, I'm gonna always revert to this method. So, yeah, I got pains that sometimes they stand 6 blocks away waiting for a spot to jump onto. I'm just saying, it can get rough. Alright, now, on the back side of a split ring, all your stitches are done using wrapping or encapsulating method, okay? They're both the same thing, 2 different words, but the same thing. And what you're doing is reverse order of double stitches, rods. You'll hear that term. Rods is the abbreviated form of reverse order of double stitches. Write that down in your notepad. I will wait. It is very important that you understand that, okay? The first half is done regular double stitches. The second half of your split ring is done in rods, and you're wrapping or encapsulating the core thread, which is right here. And as you can see, the tension on this thread is already there. So you don't have to worry about the tension, not in this method, okay? So you do the second half of the double stitch, which is over, under, through the loop, pull it, and slide it. Then the second half of that is the first half of the double stitch. Under, over, through our loop, and slide it, and we now have a double stitch right there that matches these. See it? They match. Now you wanna put 5 of those in there. Watch what I'm doing. Over, under, through the loop, slide it over on our fingers, under, over, through the loop, slide it over. That's 2. Over, under, through the loop, slide it over, under, over, through the loop, slide it over. That's 3. See how easy this is? Over, under, slide it over. And eventually, as you practice, you'll be whipping through these. Jig time, okay? Now we have 5 double stitches on there, and we have 5 double stitches on the front half. Y'all see 'em? It's time. No, none of those have slip on the back side. Exactly. Exactly, Silver. It will override the muscle memory every single time because you're just sliding it away. No, you don't flip on the second half of a split ring. None of these stitches here were flipped. These over here were, but these on this side weren't. Okay? So we get ready to close. We grab our working shuttle again and we close it just like we would close any other ring. Okay? Grab it, pull it shut, tighten it up, get our stitches in there, and you'll see we've got a little picot right there, and that's called a tiny mock picot. You can join in that, okay? I didn't have to do a lock stitch or anything else to get that picot. I left a gap, okay? So if you've got a chain, and you'll see a pattern out there in Pinterest world, okay? Has a ring that has a chain that comes back and locks right in here between the first ring and the second ring. That's your picot for that, okay? So, what would you do to put that in? You'd reverse your work. We're gonna do it. All right? We're gonna put it in so that you can see this in action because the only way you're gonna learn is seeing is believing, right? So, we're on the back side of our work and we're gonna do front side, back side. Front side, back side is done in rods, but we do flip the stitches. See, I just tripped y'all out, didn't I? We're doing rods again, but we're flipping the stitches. So with that said, we're going to do the second half, flip our stitch, pull it down. There's the first half, second half, first half, second half. You see? And then you can count. If you've got 2 solids here, that's 2 stitches. You've got a half, you've got 3 stitches because the first half is right here. You did the first half when you first started. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That'll be enough. Okay. Now we can bring this around. Let me get my little hook here so we can join this little thing. We're going to go down in that picot we left. Okay. Gonna grab that thread and pull it in. Which thread did I grab? The white thread. That's my working thread. Okay. What you do is you go under the purple thread, grab this thread on the loom and pull it through. Once you do that, release some thread off your finger so you're not cutting your circulation off like I was just doing. Fat fingers. Loop it on there. Now, take your purple thread, come up. Okay. Pull that down. You don't wanna put a lock stitch there. You don't wanna lock up anything, okay? Now, you see how that plays? You have a chain that runs along beside your split ring. So I have just given you a pattern without doing anything, okay? And you can truly, okay, play to your heart's content. Show me what you can do, okay? So now we're gonna go into a split chain. We're gonna bridge. We're gonna take a chain. Check it out. We're gonna take a chain from right here and say this is another element. Okay. We want to join to it. It's another part of the pattern. So it's all together. All right. So this is all attached here. And we've got to join right here. Let me show you how to do that. This is where your bridging comes in. You're going to bridge a chain from here over to here and create a bridge. And when you're done, you're going to come out the center to go forward from there. So we'll lay that down and get it out of the way. Normally it would be attached. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to use this little clip and I'm going to run it right there and I'm going to hook it in right here as if this was already done. We're going to use imagination, folks. Something patterns have plentiful amounts of. Okay, we're going to wrap our hand to do this chain. Gonna choke up on this shuttle. I don't need 9 miles of thread to work with, that's for sure. Now, this is joined way down here. Say this is all stitched together. Okay. And we have to join right here, but we have to pop out because we've got something else to go this way. So let's get her done. So we're going to put in 6 stitches on this one. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Tighten that chain up to get our curve in. Now where we want to come out on this chain is right here, and we're going to come out with a mock picot. Okay. Now we have to join over here. But if we do our chain and we join over here, we're going to be coming out over here. But we have to come out over here. So all we can do is bridge it or do a split chain. The way you do that is you pull up on this, okay? Bring your thread up as if you were going to join that picot, okay? Do this, and this is going to be a lock stitch. You want to adjust things. Run that up, don't lock it down. You want this part, and the hardest part about all of this is getting this part the right length. It's gonna take time here, okay? It's gonna take you a while to get your measurements straight. But remember our sample sheet? Remember our thread samples we did? These? All our little thread samples? This is where this comes into play. It says here, Elizabeth size 10, it takes 12 stitches for an inch. Where we're going to isn't a full inch, but the trick, check it out, what we're going to do. We're going to take our sample sheet out of our book and we're going to measure Okay, this is my gap. That's what I've got to fill, and I lay it down there on that sample, and it says, "I need 4 to finish that up." That's how easy it is if you do your sample cards, okay? You can lay it in the leave it in the plastic and measure. I pulled it out so that you could see. It'll keep you from getting them dirty if you leave them in the plastic, but once a year, you check your tension. Remember that. Once a year, you go back in, you check your tension, make new samples of these especially. Told you today I'd give that to you. I'd give you that information, didn't I? Easy peasy, isn't it? And that's why we keep a sample book. So now I know I've got to have 4 stitches. I can lock this in, pull it down, make sure everything stays in place like it's supposed to. Once you get it locked down, you flip your thread over the back and pull up. Okay, run your shuttle through, bring it down and over. You're going to meet in the middle. Okay, bring it down. Now the next half, come in the front, pull it up. This is the exact way you do the bone rings too. When you're covering them and you make your first stitch. And you continue making stitches until you've hit the 4 you need. These are not pretty. These are not pretty. But we're messing with samples. Remember, it is not going to be the way you want it to be the first time out. It'll be the way you want it to be the second time out. It won't be the way you want it to be third time out. It takes practice. Now, you can avoid doing this, okay? But just remember, this is what tatters use to go from one round to the next, okay? The glue dolly I shared with you that Wally did, perfect example of why this is used, okay? We've got 2 double stitches in. Can't really see what I'm doing. I have got to go get new glasses. Once I get through paying doctor bills, yeah, we'll go get new glasses. We'll make another doctor bill. My husband's gonna shoot. Alright, there we go. This is not Elizabeth thread I'm using. This is another brand. It doesn't play nice, it's knotting up. But you get your gist. You get it over here. Once you get it to the center, then you come out with your mock picot. And the way you do a mock picot, first half of the double stitch, you do not flip, and you bring it down, okay? Let me wrap my hand that locked up there. You don't flip that first half, but you do the second half, okay? Now they wanna fight me. Ah. And as you can see, we're back to we can make a chain or a ring at this point, and neither one of them is going anywhere because we've got our mock picot. Yeah, I know, I have a hard time with these bifocals. The glasses are not strong enough. I can't see squat with them. They made them wrong. All the money I spent on them, they should have glasses at work. They don't. I just deal with it. I'll go get me some binoculars and attach them to the front of my glasses. Okay, have we got any questions? Yeah, you just create loops on the split chain. You flip them. But what you're doing on the back half is rods. The first half is all double stitches normal. Second half of that split chain is rods, and you work those stitches back, and you're just rolling them. Okay? Play with it. Play with it. Now I've got videos up on the channel that explain split chain, explains split rings. It does the whole mock picot, the whole 9 yards. It has a full completed sample that shows you, and I give the counts on the sample. If you wanna use that, you're more than welcome, okay? Let me switch cameras. Okay, Mouse, it's time to wake up and say hello. Hello, world. Hello. Are you there? Oh, she's not wanting to wake up. There she goes. She just says, "I'm a lazy bum today." That's okay. She can be. All right. Now, those videos that I did for Georgia, all of them have samples. Okay. Neither of those halves on the backside of a split chain flip. Okay. Go watch the video. It's a close up. I mean, this I had the camera maybe this far above my hands. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Lillian. Ask about the shoelace trick. What would you like to know? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That'll happen many, many times in your tatting career. If you're running low on thread on this shuttle, you got tons of thread on this shuttle. They're both say the same color. You've got 2 rings to do in a chain. Guess who is going to be your friend? The shoelace trick. Because after every element, do the shoelace trick so you can use the thread off the shuttle that is full. You will use the shoelace trick in places that you never thought you would use it. I used to, I was doing a doily, it was one of Renelex, I think it was the honey napkin, and I was making it for my daughter, and needless to say, I was on the last round. That last round was nothing but shoelace trick. I had bucket loads of thread on one shuttle. The other one was about half done. It got me through that entire round. Yeah, you would use it to get yourself through a round to finish it out. Uh, shoelace trick is used to change direction. The shoelace trick can be used to, um, go into another element, that kind of thing. So, if you got any more questions, Lillian, you'll have to send them on in, okay? I gotta give the other students time to ask theirs. Okay, any other questions? Now, any of those videos that I've got up, and they're on our channel as well, just a little more difficult to find. That's okay, that's okay. If you use any of those samples, those are just samples, okay? They are created samples, they're no one's pattern. I created the samples according to the guidelines I was given and worked samples up to accommodate the technique I was doing, so you could see exactly how to use it, when to use it, and how it works, okay? So, know that you are welcome to use those sample counts, and all of them have a count on it. If you listen to it, you'll hear me say my nose is itching there, uh, "This is such and such, like 3 picot 3, whatever," and it will get you through. Okay? So do play with the techniques. I'm not asking for homework. I love to see the homework, but don't kill yourself trying to do something that is very challenging to you. It will discourage you. Don't think it won't. It will tell you, "I don't wanna do this." I threw my shuttles away, literally threw them away. Thank God they were plastic cheap shuttles, I'm just saying. But I threw them in the trash along with the thread because I couldn't accomplish a simple thing like the flip. I drove myself nuts, and then the other side kicked in. I am a very stubborn person. I don't take no for an answer, just ask my husband. It's got to have a logical solution. I don't care what it is, it's got to have a logical solution, okay? Yes, Esther, you can watch all the classes later on YouTube. You can watch any of them you want to watch. I did too. I did too. So, don't let it discourage you. You're gonna have pitfalls. The best one was the one that came in today. I'm not gonna say who did it, but it made my day because it was comically written, and I just laughed, and I thought, "Oh my god, that brings back memories." I was in your shoes. I wasn't born with a shuttle in my hand. I inherited them, and at the time I inherited them, all I could find was stuff about Columbia, the shuttle Columbia, and I was like, "I can't fly this thing, it's awful small." So, yeah, go back and review. Look at them all. You'll learn things just by sitting there and listening and watching. Okay, talk to you later, Teresa. Let me know when you get home. Text me when you get home tonight. I'll be worried. So, you know, don't sell yourself short. You're doing better than you think. We're our own worst critics. Remember that. Our own worst critics. Y'all have sent homework, and I am so ashamed to send this. I'm sitting there going, I wouldn't be. I compare your homework to a previous. I see the changes, and I've seen changes that you all totally missed. Yeah, I can understand that. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, y'all hit that like button. Now, I am going to make a suggestion that we can do. I've got some information. I solely support the channel financially, the website financially, all the stuff that goes with this. And with the economy and medical bills, it's getting tight, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. And I'm not drawing the pennies on the peanut from YouTube. Last year, I made $214. Yay. Yeah, last year. And it's because of the commercials that they run. We get pennies on a penny. I was hoping that more people would watch the commercials, but hear me out before you take it offensively, okay? I understand skipping the commercials. I'm guilty. A lot of times, especially if there's someone that's crafting, I will let the commercials run and use it to get me a cup of coffee, a glass of water, go to the bathroom, check on the dog, make sure my husband's still breathing, that kind of stuff. And, just let the commercial run. But if I'm in a rush and I need some information, I will skip those commercials. You know what? I don't blame anybody for doing it. I think they've got too many commercials run during the replays. That's my honest, humble opinion. Now they're forcing it on us in our live feeds. And the reason they're doing that is because we're monetized on the backside with the videos. Nobody's watching the commercials. So creators have decided we're not gonna monetize the channel. We're gonna take donations, complete donations through super chats, super thanks, super stickers, that kind of Now we could do that, but I'd have to have guarantees because even though it's pennies on the peanut, $214 is a hefty chunk of money towards the bill, okay? And it is a big bill, and that's just for 1 year for everything. It covers email, it covers the StreamYard, it covers the, website, it covers, all the stuff. If a camera breaks, it will cover that, okay? But I can't do that free because I buy all the supplies you see. Nobody donates any supply to me. Nobody donates stuff for me to show you to sell except one person, and that's, Stephanie Servey, and the 2 products, the Tatter's Toolbox and the shuttle ship that she created, and she's working on some other stuff, don't think she's not. She sent to me for me to, uh, provide a video for. The grid, the 12-point gri or what is it, 12-point grid that we did, that one, she gave those to me, and what I do with them is I donate to the Tatting Guild, things that I'm not gonna use in the classes. I donate them to the guild for the silent auction, and the money goes to send one of you to Tatting. So, see, I do give everything I have to Tatting. Yeah, literally, you'd watch all the stupid commercials to get paid, and it's literally peanuts on the penny, my tongue's dry. I made $321 the year before. I showed my 1099 to Teresa Orrin, and she was flabbergasted. She says, "That's all you made?" I said, "Hey, that's all there was." And back when I made videos for Georgia, I never got a penny on those videos. They were not monetized. And they got commercials on 'em. So YouTube makes it regardless if we cut the commercials out or not. If I cut the commercials out on the live, that means I demonetize the channel. And if I demonetize it, I have to have guarantees that I can get a $5 donation a month, you know, from everybody so that I can get it. And once the money is set aside for it, then that's the end of the donations for that year. If you wanna donate the next year, knock yourself out. It goes into its own separate account. I have no access to it. I can't transfer it to my account, nothing. It is a business account for the classes, and it's designed to pay out from. That's all it does. It pays out to who we have business. So see, it's all covered. But you all think about it. You think about what you want. For myself, I'll keep running the commercials. I don't mind stopping and waiting for the commercials to run. It's aggravating to you on your end because you lose track of where we're at, and I fully understand that because you all are anxious, 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 just like I was. So you all make the decision. Write me and let me know what your thoughts are. If you wanna go to that, we can go that route. I looked at the other avenues, all of them run commercials. If you want monetization, they have to sell commercials. Yeah, I know, and that's okay, Lillian. Yeah, the affiliate link is better, but I mean, even at that, I'd have to sell the high dollar stuff. Really, I'm only getting 4% of every $10. So, yeah, you get paid if you watch all the commercials 15 times because your ISP is different than mine. and they don't count your ISP. They count mine because I'm the owner, and they know who's who. Yeah, the affiliate link is only 4. I have to say though, Lillian, it's better. I get 0.03% of every commercial YouTube runs. Yeah, the higher end stuff to draw 10%, you have to sell camera equipment, notebooks, iPads, iPhones, that kind of stuff, the high dollar stuff to get 10%. They have a, what do they call it, levels. Yeah, it's not much. It's really not. And, all I want is to cover I'm not even asking for any money for me, okay, because I love this. The time is my time to share, but just cover the expenses on. Because if y'all knew what I've worked out this last month in doctor bills, y'all would flip your lids. I have not met my $15,000 deductible, let's put it that way. I'm self-pay. I pay through my husband's work, and our deductible is $15,000, and they cover nothing until that deductible is met. Yeah, when you rewatch the videos and the commercials run, that goes towards it. It shows me I get stats once a week, and it shows me how many commercials was watched, how much I made off of it. I think the biggest I ever made off of a commercial was I think it was 5 100ths or 1,000. It was 0.0005. It was point that. Do I have a wish list for class on Amazon? Yeah, I have an Amazon affiliate, and we just opened it up, and you can go on there and you can peruse. There's all kinds of things that I shared on there that tatters do use. Yeah, and I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Anything you all can do, I do appreciate it. I hate asking my husband for money to buy him a Christmas present or a birthday present. You know what I'm saying? And when I have to ask him for a big chunk of money to pay the debt, I feel guilty. And not that he wouldn't do it for me, but right now he's paying out the wazoo on medical. And they still have not fixed anything. I gotta go doctor shopping again. That's about the size of it, Pam. That's YouTube. And the bigger they get, the worse it gets. And they keep changing things on YouTube. And it irritates me. Don't fix if it's not broken, it's working just fine. Why do I have to say yes and no to all these 10,000 questions? They make us go under adult writer because we use scissors and needles. There's kids that like to tat. We have a group in Florida. One of the kids, I think she's like 10, she tats beautifully, and I can't spread the word to younger people because we use needles and shuttles. And if I do that, they won't monetize me, period. They don't monetize any children's programming, which I think they should, because some of the children's programming's a little sketchy. I wouldn't let my kids watch it if I had children. Back when my kids was little, they didn't watch Sesame Street, so they watched learning shows, but it was true learning. It wasn't learning things they didn't need to know about just yet. Anything they needed to know about, mom took. But, y'all think about it. Give me your advice and let me know, because I do take your advice. Just understand it is very costly. We were with GoDaddy website, and it was $3,500 a year, and I paid for 2 years on that sucker and didn't even know the first thing about how to. Sue was trying to help me, I couldn't learn, and I said, "I've got to get something I can work because I was the main person in there, and I needed to know how to run the website and couldn't, and, you know, what was I supposed to do? So I went with Wix. It was cheaper, and I could understand how to put information in. Takes a little longer, but I can wrap my head around it. You know the old saying, "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." Well, this old dog, she don't do tricks. I'm just saying, she just don't. So, that's the gist of it. But you guys think about what I'm saying. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll work on it together as a team because you all are having the time of your life, and everybody else charges. I mean, I love Monique to death, but she charges to teach you. There's very few people that will give you the kind of education you're gonna get in this group on tatting without having to pay for it. And Georgia asked me to do it, but she didn't have to ask, I would've done it anyway. So there you go. So with that said, we're gonna end class on a high note because you all can now do a split chain or a bridging chain. You can do a mock picot. You can do a tiny mock picot. You've learned how to play with your thread and make it happen. You've learned how to do a split ring, and you learned how to do a dead chain. Lyrical host, I've never heard of them. See, Wix, they do more than just host the website. They do traffic counting and everything. Don't charge me extra for it. A lot of sites, they charge you for everything you want, and it's got some serious security on the site. I just wanna know your thoughts. If you want to continue with these commercials, and, we'll do it. But if you're tired of the commercials, say so, and we're gonna have to look at another avenue to pay for what it costs. StreamYard alone is $481 a year, okay? The website alone is $895 a year. The domain name is $80 a year. You see how it adds up. And we've got email that I pay for and many other things, plus all the supplies that I use. I don't buy cheap stuff. I buy what tatters use, so you can see what it looks like. So if you wanna invest in that, you can. So, just think about it and see what y'all figure out, but Dennis has looked, and every one of them that are out there, they run commercials. You use YouTube so much that you pay for no commercials? Is that what you're saying, Kathy? I can't understand. You got a 5 hat there. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah, I know. I don't know if mine's doing it or what. You scrimp elsewhere. Kathy, I could scrimp till the cows come home. I just can't explain it. We live in an RV. They just went up on the rent where we're at. I'm paying as much rent as you pay in the apartment. So, and we did it so that I could travel and do meet and greets all over. So, Oh, you've got YouTube Premium. You watch TV. We don't have that. We don't have YouTube Premium because YouTube it's something about something that he doesn't like about YouTube Premium where you get to watch TV on it or whatever. It comes back to regular space? Hmm, I'll have to see. How much do I get out of $5 from PayPal? $3.85 after they take fees out. They have to take fees out. They take taxes out of it, and they take fees out of it. So I don't get a 1099. I get a form that shows I paid taxes, and that's what they're supposed to be, a blessing to people. But even Georgia ran on donations. Did y'all know that? Back then, people donated like crazy to her, and, but she did a lot of charity running, you know, and, she paid for the Chatsy classroom. She paid for the GoDaddy website. She paid for a lot of things, but her and her husband both retired military, and they own a farm and family farm, and everybody got farmland. They own the whole street. Hey, you know, I can agree with you, Carmen. I can agree with you. Self-taught for tatting can confuse you more than life can, and that's what I say. You know, it's up to you guys. I'm not going to beg or anything else. Okay, I'm just telling you these are the avenues to get away from the commercials. And, if we can make it work and the commercials, I just let the commercials run, maybe I don't know if they'd put me in a higher tier or not. Lori, you are so sweet. You are so sweet. All of you are. I mean, I just adore all of you. When classes go off on break, I'm just like antsy pantsy trying to get back. I'm working constantly. Well, can we learn this? Can we do this? And always looking for new patterns. I have all of Georgia's patterns and stuff. Some of them we've done to the hilt, you know. And there's a lot more in there. I've just got to dig them out and put them in a PDF because that's all Wix will allow is a PDF. So, I've just gotta get work on it, and Sue's not working with me anymore on the website or anything. She's fully retired, and God love her, the woman gave 20 something years to these classes and never batted an eye. She just kept on trucking, and, when she said she wanted to retire, I said, "Well, it's about time." And all I could tell her is I wanted her to enjoy your life. What you've got left of it, enjoy it to the fullest and do what Sue wants to do because she would spend days, days working on her classes. All right, and we just keep the commercials going. How about that, guys? And donate when you can. Does that sound all right? I don't know if they do or not. I don't know. He says he's gonna look into it. Many of you don't know what he does, but he works for the federal government. He handles the Medicare and Medicaid accounts for the entire United States. His job is to make sure if there's a natural disaster, just like the hurricane that hit Jamaica, to be able to move your all's medical records from point A to point B safely. And trust me, that is a huge job. So when he's busy like he is now, yeah, I don't exist. I tell people during federal checks, they do what they call a check. They come in and they'll have a natural disaster kit like it really hit and see how it moves. And, when they come in, I tell people, I said, "I'm a single housewife," 'cause, yeah, I really don't exist. It's 'cause he's going nonstop during that. Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you guys, work it out amongst yourself in the group. Yeah, it is, and right now, they're switching everything over to Amazon World Services, and it has to be done by December 31st, and that's the storage facility they're gonna put things. They used to move it to Iron Mountain. I'm sure you all heard of Iron Mountain. That's where all the files are kept for the last 100 years, and, Orlando database. There's one place out in Colorado, there's one out in, I wanna say Washington. So, yeah, he has to transfer this stuff all around, so but anyway, you all have a good night. I will see you on Thursdays, my beginners, and, um, I'm thinking the plan for Thursday is going to be possibly walk through that shuttle because I've got another one I wanna work with y'all that includes the letter beads. So and y'all can make little hang tags to go on your luggage for when you travel when we get the airlines going again. I've heard that some of them are shutting down because of the government shutdown. So, love you too, Kathleen. I wanna say thank you for coming, everyone. You all have a wonderful day, and may all your threads make beautiful lace. Happy tatting, guys. I'll talk to you on Thursday, beginners. Bye-bye. What about the center of clover? We can work on that. If you want, we can do it. We shall do it. Yeah, we'll do it we'll do it Thursday. Y'all have a good night. Love you guys. Bye. Okay, I'll say goodbye when my mouse decides to come back to me. There it goes. I woke it up. I had to drop it. Bye, guys.